Are you over 60 and tired of waking up every morning feeling like your body has turned into a rusty gate? Do your knees creak when you stand up? Your shoulders protest when you reach for something on a high shelf? And your back reminds you of every poor posture choice you've made in the last decade? What if I told you that there's a group of people on the other side of the world who have cracked the code on aging gracefully, maintaining mobility, and keeping their joints pain-free well into their 80s and 90s? Picture this. It's 6:30 a.m. in a small park in Tokyo. The morning mist is just beginning to lift, and dozens of elderly Japanese men and women gather in a perfect formation. They're not there for a social meeting or to feed the pigeons. They're there to perform a ritual that has been protecting their joints and maintaining their mobility for decades. These aren't elite athletes or fitness fanatics. These are regular seniors, many in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s, who move with the grace and ease of people half their age. The secret isn't some expensive supplement, complicated equipment, or grueling workout routine. It's 6 simple movements that take less than 10 minutes a day and can be done right in your living room with nothing more than a chair and a towel. These movements are based on centuries-old Japanese wellness practices that prioritize gentle, consistent motion over intense, sporadic exercise. Now, before we dive into these life-changing movements, let me share something that might surprise you. Japan has the highest life expectancy in the world, and it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. The average Japanese senior experiences significantly less joint pain, maintains better balance, and enjoys greater mobility than their counterparts in Western countries. This isn't due to genetics alone. It's a result of daily practices that most of us have never heard of. The philosophy behind these movements is beautifully simple. Your joints are like door hinges. Leave a door unopened for weeks and the hinges will squeak and resist when you finally try to move it. Oil those hinges regularly with gentle movement and they'll glide smoothly for years. Your joints work the same way. The synovial fluid that lubricates your joints needs movement to circulate properly. Without it, stiffness sets in, pain follows, and before you know it, simple tasks become monumental challenges. But here's what makes the Japanese approach different from everything else you've probably tried. Western fitness culture often promotes the no pain, no gain mentality, encouraging us to push through discomfort and work harder, faster, stronger. The Japanese wellness philosophy embraces the concept of Ikigai, finding purpose and joy in small, sustainable actions. These 6 movements embody this principle perfectly. They're designed to nourish your joints, not punish them. Over the next hour, I'm going to share with you these 6 transformative movements, explain the science behind why they work so effectively, and guide you through a complete routine that you can start using today. But more importantly, I'm going to show you how to integrate these practices into your daily life so naturally that they become as automatic as brushing your teeth. By the end of this session, you'll understand why 87-year-old Mrs. Tanaka from Kyoto can still tend to her garden for hours without back pain, why 82-year-old Mr. Yamamoto can climb 3 flights of stairs to his apartment without knee discomfort, and why thousands of Japanese seniors continue to live independently, pain-free, and actively engaged in life long after their Western counterparts have accepted limitation as inevitable. Let me start by addressing the elephant in the room. You might be thinking, I've tried exercise before and it didn't work, or I'm too old to start something new, or what if these movements make my pain worse? These are valid concerns, and they're exactly why the Japanese approach is so brilliant. These movements aren't about becoming a fitness enthusiast overnight. They're about making small, gentle adjustments that compound over time into profound improvements. The beauty of these 6 movements lies in their adaptability. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, recovering from an injury, or simply feeling the effects of decades of wear and tear, each movement can be modified to meet you exactly where you are today. We're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for progress. We're not seeking intensity. We're seeking consistency. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this approach. Last year, I met a 73-year-old woman named Helen during one of my workshops. She came in with a walker, having accepted that her days of independence were behind her. Helen had been told by multiple doctors that her joint pain was just part of aging, and that she should learn to live with it. She was skeptical about trying yet another exercise program, but something about the gentle nature of these Japanese-inspired movements intrigued her. Helen started with just 3 minutes a day, performing the movements while seated in her favorite armchair. She couldn't do full range of motion, and several of the movements felt foreign and challenging. But Helen understood something crucial. She wasn't trying to transform overnight. She was simply introducing her body to the idea of gentle, purposeful movement again. Within 2 weeks, Helen noticed that getting out of bed in the morning felt slightly easier. Her morning stiffness, which had been her dreaded companion for years, began to lessen. After a month, she found herself reaching for things without the sharp protests from her shoulders. By the 3-month mark, Helen had progressed from her armchair to standing, and eventually, she was able to walk to her mailbox without her walker for the first time in 2 years. Helen's transformation wasn't dramatic or sudden. It was gradual, sustainable, and built on the foundation of consistency rather than intensity. This is the Japanese way. Small, daily actions that create lasting change. Now, let's talk about the science behind why these movements are so effective. When we age, several things happen to our joints simultaneously. The cartilage that cushions our bones begins to thin. The synovial fluid that lubricates our joints becomes less abundant. The muscles surrounding our joints weaken, and our range of motion naturally decreases. Traditional approaches often focus on one aspect of this aging process, but these 6 Japanese-inspired movements address all of these factors simultaneously. The first principle is synovial fluid circulation. Think of synovial fluid as the oil in your car's engine. Without proper circulation, parts start to grind against each other, creating friction, heat, and eventually breakdown. The gentle movements we'll be learning create a pumping action that encourages fresh synovial fluid to bathe your joints, carrying away waste products and delivering nutrients. The second principle is neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new neural pathways at any age. When you perform these movements consistently, you're not just moving your joints. You're teaching your brain to communicate more effectively with your muscles. This improved communication leads to better balance, coordination, and movement quality. The third principle is fascial health. Your fascia is the connective tissue that surrounds every muscle, organ, and structure in your body. Think of it as a full body suit made of stretchy material. When fascia becomes tight or restricted, it can create pain and limit movement. The flowing nature of these Japanese movements helps maintain fascial flexibility and health. Before we begin with the actual movements, let's establish some ground rules that will ensure your safety and success. The Japanese have a beautiful phrase, kansha no kokoro, which means a heart of gratitude. Approach these movements with gratitude for what your body can do today, rather than frustration about what it can't do. First, the pain scale rule. We'll use a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is no discomfort and 10 is severe pain. During these movements, you should never exceed a 3 on this scale. A little mild discomfort as you gently stretch tight areas is normal and even beneficial. But sharp pain or significant discomfort means you need to reduce your range of motion or take a break. Second, breathing is your guide. In Japanese culture, breath is considered the bridge between body and mind. Throughout these movements, breathe slowly and deeply through your nose. If you find yourself holding your breath or breathing rapidly, slow down. Your breath should be your constant companion, helping you stay relaxed and present. Third, modification is not failure, it's wisdom. Every single one of these movements can be adapted for different ability levels. If you need to hold on to a chair for balance, that's perfect. If you need to reduce your range of motion, that's exactly what you should do. If you need to take breaks, honor that need. The goal is to move gently and consistently, not to prove anything to anyone. Fourth, create a safe environment. Clear a space where you won't trip over anything. Have a sturdy chair nearby that you can hold onto or sit in if needed. Wear comfortable clothing that allows for easy movement. Remove any slippery socks or shoes and either go barefoot on a non-slip surface or wear shoes with good grip. Fifth, hydration is crucial. Have water nearby and sip it before, during, and after your practice. As we age, our sensation of thirst decreases, but our need for hydration remains high. Proper hydration helps maintain the viscosity of your synovial fluid and supports overall joint health. Let me also address the importance of medical clearance. While these movements are designed to be gentle and safe, it's always wise to consult with your healthcare provider before starting any new movement program, especially if you have been diagnosed with specific joint conditions, balance issues, or other health concerns. Your doctor or physical therapist can provide personalized guidance on how to adapt these movements for your specific situation. Now, let's talk about realistic expectations. In our instant gratification society, we often expect immediate results. The Japanese approach teaches us the value of patience and consistency. You might notice some improvements within the first week. Perhaps you sleep better or feel less stiff in the morning. More significant changes typically become apparent after 2 to 4 weeks of consistent practice. The most profound transformations occur over months of gentle, daily attention to your joint health. Remember, we're not trying to turn back the clock or recapture the physical abilities of our youth. We're working to optimize what we have today and slow the progression of age-related joint changes. We're building a foundation of mobility that will serve you for years to come. The Japanese concept of Kaizen, continuous small improvements, is central to this approach. Each day you perform these movements, you're making a small deposit in your joint health bank account. These deposits compound over time, creating substantial returns in the form of reduced pain, improved mobility, and greater independence. Let's also discuss the mental and emotional benefits of this practice. When you take 10 minutes each day to focus on gentle, purposeful movement, you're doing more than just caring for your joints. You're practicing mindfulness, reducing stress, and reinforcing a positive relationship with your body. Many people report that their daily movement practice becomes a form of moving meditation, a time to check in with themselves and start the day with intention. Now that we've laid the foundation, let's move into the 6 transformative movements that have kept Japanese seniors mobile and pain-free for generations. I'll guide you through each movement in detail, explain its specific benefits, and show you how to modify it for your current ability level. Movement 1. The Gentle Awakening. Rajio Taiso inspired warm-up. We begin with a movement inspired by Rajio Taiso, the radio exercise that has been broadcast across Japan every morning for over 90 years. Millions of Japanese people, from school children to seniors, start their day with these movements. Our adapted version is designed specifically for mature joints that need gentle awakening rather than vigorous exercise. Stand comfortably with your feet about hip-width apart. If you need support, position yourself near a sturdy chair or wall that you can hold on to. We're going to start by simply marching in place, but this isn't the high knees marching you might remember from gym class. Instead, lift one foot just slightly off the ground, then the other, creating a gentle alternating pattern. Focus on shifting your weight from one foot to the other, activating the small stabilizing muscles throughout your legs and core. As you march gently in place, begin to add a subtle arm swing. Let your arms move naturally in opposition to your legs. When your right foot lifts, your left arm swings slightly forward and vice versa. This cross-lateral movement pattern helps coordinate the left and right sides of your brain and body, improving overall balance and coordination. After about 30 seconds of gentle marching, we'll add shoulder rolls. While continuing your gentle weight shifting from foot to foot, begin to roll your shoulders in slow, large circles. Start by lifting your shoulders toward your ears, then rolling them back, down, and forward to complete the circle. Do this 5 times, then reverse the direction for 5 more circles. The beauty of this warming movement is that it addresses multiple joint systems simultaneously. The gentle weight shifting lubricates your ankles, knees, and hips. The arm movements wake up your shoulders and elbows. The shoulder rolls release tension that accumulates in your neck and upper back, especially if you spend time reading, watching television, or working at a computer. If standing and marching feels too challenging, you can perform this entire sequence while seated in a sturdy chair. Simply rock gently from side to side instead of lifting your feet, and add the arm movements and shoulder rolls exactly as described. The key is to create gentle movement throughout your body, encouraging circulation and preparing your joints for the more specific movements to follow. Pay attention to your breathing during this warm-up. Inhale deeply through your nose as you roll your shoulders back, and exhale slowly as you roll them forward. This coordinated breathing helps oxygenate your blood, reduces any morning anxiety or stiffness, and sets a calm, mindful tone for your practice. This gentle awakening should take about 2 minutes. You'll know you're ready to move on when you feel slightly warmer, more alert, and more connected to your body. Don't rush this phase. It's setting the stage for everything that follows. Movement 2. Ankle and foot liberation, Enso circles and toe awakening. Our second movement focuses on your feet and ankles, which are often the most neglected joints in our body despite being responsible for carrying us through life. In Japanese aesthetics, the Enso is a circle drawn in a single, fluid brush stroke, representing wholeness and the cyclical nature of existence. We'll use this concept to create healing circles with our ankles while awakening the intricate network of joints in our feet. If you're standing, hold onto a chair or wall for support. If you prefer, you can remain seated in your chair. We'll start with ankle circles. Lift your right foot slightly off the ground, just enough to move it freely without losing your balance. If you're seated, extend your right leg slightly so your foot can move freely. Begin drawing slow, deliberate circles with your foot, as if you're trying to trace the outline of a clock face on the floor. Start with small circles and gradually make them larger as your ankle warms up. Focus on moving through the full range of motion available to you today. Don't force it, but don't hold back unnecessarily either. Draw 10 circles in one direction. Then reverse and draw 10 circles in the other direction. As you do this, pay attention to any areas of stiffness or restriction. Your ankle joint is actually made up of multiple bones working together, and it's common to feel different sensations as you move through different parts of the circle. After completing the circles with your right foot, we'll add some additional ankle movements. Point your toes away from you as if you're reaching for something with your foot, then flex your foot by pulling your toes back toward your shin. This plantar flexion and dorsiflexion movement helps maintain the range of motion that's essential for walking, climbing stairs, and maintaining balance. Now, for the toe awakening portion. This might feel unusual at first, but your toes contain numerous small joints that need attention. Try to lift just your big toe while keeping your other toes on the ground. Don't worry if this feels impossible. Many people have lost this individual toe control over the years. Then, try to lift your 4 smaller toes while keeping your big toe down. Again, don't worry about perfect execution. The attempt alone is beneficial. Finish by spreading all your toes as wide as you can, then curling them under as if you're trying to pick up a pencil with your toes. This movement pattern helps maintain the strength and flexibility in the many small muscles of your feet that contribute to balance and stability. Now repeat the entire sequence. With your left foot, ankle circles in both directions, pointing and flexing, and toe movements. Take your time with each foot and notice if one side feels different from the other. It's perfectly normal to have differences between your right and left sides. This ankle and foot sequence is particularly beneficial because our feet spend most of their time confined in shoes, often on flat, even surfaces. This movement sequence reminds your feet and ankles of their full range of motion and helps maintain the flexibility and strength necessary for confident walking and balance. If you experience any cramping in your feet during these movements, simply pause, breathe deeply, and gently massage the affected area. Cramping often indicates muscles that haven't been used in specific ways for a while. and it typically decreases as you continue to practice these movements regularly. Movement 3. The functional sit-to-stand, chair-adapted, Seiza practice ETUC. Third movement addresses one of the most important functional movements for maintaining independence, the ability to rise from a seated position without strain or assistance. This movement is inspired by Seiza, the traditional Japanese seated posture, but adapted for Western seniors who are more accustomed to chair sitting. The sit-to-stand movement is crucial because it requires coordination between your ankles, knees, hips, and core muscles. It's also one of the movements that people often struggle with as they age, leading to a fear of falling and subsequent reduction in activity levels. Position yourself in front of a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Your knees should be bent at approximately 90 degrees when you're seated. If your chair is too high or too low, use cushions to adjust your starting position. Before we begin the actual movement, let's establish proper alignment. Sit tall, with your chest lifted and your shoulders relaxed away from your ears. Your feet should be pointing straight ahead, and your knees should be aligned over your feet, not falling inward or pushing outward. Now, we'll practice the movement in slow motion. Lean slightly forward from your hips, keeping your back straight. This forward lean is crucial. Many people try to stand up while remaining upright, which puts tremendous strain on the knee joints. Think of leading with your chest as you lean forward. As you lean forward, shift your weight toward the balls of your feet and begin to press down through your feet to rise. The power for this movement should come primarily from your leg muscles, not from pushing off the chair arms or using momentum. Rise only as high as feels comfortable and controlled, then slowly lower yourself back to the seated position. This controlled lowering, or eccentric phase of the movement, is just as important as the rising phase for building strength and stability. If you find the full sit-to-stand challenging, there are several modifications you can try. First, you can place your hands on your thighs and use your arms to assist slightly. Second, you can rise only part way, perhaps lifting your bottom just a few inches off the chair before sitting back down. Third, you can use a higher chair or add cushions to reduce the distance you need to rise. As you become stronger and more comfortable with this movement, you can challenge yourself by crossing your arms over your chest or by pausing briefly at the top of the movement before sitting back down. Perform 5 to 8 repetitions, depending on your current ability level. Focus on smooth, controlled movements rather than speed or number of repetitions. Each time you rise, imagine that you're a marionette with a string pulling you up from the crown of your head, helping you maintain good posture throughout the movement. This movement is particularly valuable because it directly translates to daily activities. Every time you get up from a toilet, rise from a dining chair, or stand up from your favorite reading spot, you're performing this same movement pattern. By practicing it regularly, you're ensuring that these daily activities remain easy and pain-free. Pay attention to your breathing during this movement. Exhale as you rise up and inhale as you lower back down. This breathing pattern helps stabilize your core and provides the most support for your spine throughout the movement. Movement 4. The respectful bow. Hip hinge for spinal health. Fourth movement is inspired by ojigi, the Japanese bow, which is not just a cultural gesture but also a perfect movement for maintaining hip and spine health. This movement teaches you to bend from your hips rather than your back, which is crucial for preventing lower back pain and maintaining good posture throughout daily activities. Many people lose the ability to hinge properly at their hips as they age, instead rounding their backs when they need to reach forward or pick something up. This compensation pattern puts tremendous stress on the spine and often leads to chronic back pain. Stand with your feet about hip-width apart with a slight bend in your knees. Place your hands on your thighs, just above your kneecaps. This hand placement will help guide the movement and provide a gentle reminder to hinge from your hips rather than round your back. Begin the movement by imagining that someone is gently pulling your hips backward. Push your hips back while keeping your chest lifted and your shoulders away from your ears. Your hands will naturally slide down your thighs as you hinge forward. The key to this movement is maintaining the natural curve in your lower back. Think of sticking your bottom out slightly as you hinge forward. This might feel exaggerated at first, especially if you've become accustomed to rounding your back. But it's exactly what your spine needs to stay healthy. Only go as far forward as you can while maintaining good form. For some people, this might be just a few inches. For others, you might be able to hinge forward until your torso is nearly parallel to the floor. There's no right or wrong distance, only the distance that allows you to maintain proper hip hinge form. At the bottom of the movement, pause briefly and take a breath. You should feel a gentle stretch in the back of your thighs, hamstrings, and possibly in your calves. You should not feel pressure or discomfort in your lower back. To return to standing, push your hips forward and imagine leading with your chest as you rise back up. Your hands will slide back up your thighs as you return to the starting position. Perform 8 to 12 repetitions of this hip hinge movement, focusing on the quality of the movement rather than the quantity. Each repetition should be smooth and controlled, with a brief pause at the bottom. If you find this movement challenging, or if you have concerns about your balance, you can perform it with your back against a wall. Start with your back about 6 inches away from the wall, and as you hinge forward, your bottom should gently touch the wall. This provides a reference point and helps ensure that you're truly hinging from your hips. Another modification is to perform this movement while seated in a chair. Simply lean forward from your hips while keeping your back straight, as if you're bowing respectfully to someone in front of you. This movement is incredibly valuable for daily life. Every time you load a dishwasher, pick up something from the floor, or lean over a bathroom sink, you're using this same movement pattern. By practicing the hip hinge regularly, you're protecting your back and ensuring that these daily activities can be performed pain-free. The hip hinge also helps counteract the effects of prolonged sitting, which can cause your hip flexors to tighten and your glutes to weaken. Regular practice helps maintain the balance between these muscle groups, which is essential for good posture and pain-free movement. Movement 5. Hand and wrist vitality. Soroban-inspired finger exercises. Our fifth movement sequence focuses on the intricate network of joints in your hands and wrists. This sequence is inspired by the precise finger movements used to operate a Soroban, the traditional Japanese abacus that requires remarkable dexterity and coordination. Our hands perform countless tasks every day, from buttoning shirts and opening jars to typing, writing, and preparing meals. Yet we rarely give our hands the attention they deserve until they start to hurt or lose function. These exercises help maintain the mobility, strength, and coordination that keep your hands functioning optimally. You can perform these exercises either sitting or standing, whichever feels most comfortable. We'll start with some gentle wrist movements to warm up the larger joints before moving to the more intricate finger exercises. Begin by extending both arms in front of you at shoulder height. Make loose fists with both hands, then begin drawing circles with your fists, moving from your wrists. Draw 5 circles in one direction, then reverse and draw 5 circles in the other direction. Focus on moving through the full range of motion available in your wrists. Next, open your hands and spread your fingers wide. Flex your wrists by bending your hands back toward your forearms, as if you're pushing against an invisible wall. You should feel a gentle stretch through your forearms and the palms of your hands. Hold for 3 seconds, then flex your wrists in the opposite direction, pointing your fingertips toward the floor. Hold for 3 seconds. Now we'll move into the finger-specific exercises. These movements help maintain the intricate coordination required for fine motor tasks and can be particularly beneficial for people dealing with arthritis or general stiffness in their hands. Start with what I call the piano player exercise. Rest your hands on an imaginary piano keyboard in front of you. Begin playing by lifting one finger at a time while keeping the others relaxed. Start with your thumbs, then move through each finger systematically. This individual finger control helps maintain the neural pathways between your brain and your hands. Next, we'll practice finger slides. Start with your hands in loose fists, Then slowly extend your fingers one by one, starting with your index finger and moving through to your pinky. As you extend each finger, slide it along an imaginary surface, as if you're smoothing out wrinkles in fabric. Then reverse the process, curling your fingers back into loose fists one by one. The third exercise in this sequence is thumb opposition. Touch your thumb to each fingertip on the same hand, starting with your index finger and moving through to your pinky, then back again. This movement maintains the precious opposable thumb function that allows us to grasp and manipulate objects. For the final hand exercise, we'll practice gentle finger stretches. Interlace your fingers in front of you, then gently turn your palms away from your body while keeping your fingers interlaced. You should feel a pleasant stretch through your fingers, palms, and forearms. Hold for 10 seconds, then release. If you experience stiffness or mild discomfort in your hands, you might find it helpful to warm your hands before these exercises. You can do this by rubbing your hands together vigorously for 30 seconds, or by soaking them in warm water for a few minutes before beginning your movement practice. These hand and wrist exercises are particularly important as we age because we tend to use our hands in repetitive patterns, typing, holding books or phones, gripping steering wheels. These repetitive patterns can lead to stiffness and reduced range of motion if we don't actively work to maintain full mobility. Regular practice of these exercises can help maintain your ability to perform daily tasks like opening jars, buttoning clothes, and writing. They can also help reduce morning stiffness and improve the overall hand comfort throughout the day. Movement 6. Shoulder and chest opening. Tenugui. Towel stretches. Our final movement uses a simple towel, or tenugui, the versatile cotton hand towel that is ubiquitous in Japanese culture. This sequence addresses the shoulders and upper back, areas that often become tight and restricted as we spend more time in forward-leaning postures. For this exercise, you'll need a towel, belt, or resistance band. Anything that's about 3 to 4 feet long and that you can grip comfortably with both hands. A bath towel works perfectly for most people. Start by holding your towel with both hands, arms extended in front of you at chest height. Your hands should be wider than shoulder width apart on the towel. Experiment with the width that feels most comfortable for your shoulders. The first movement is a simple chest opener. Keeping your arms straight, pull the towel gently apart as if you're trying to stretch it, and simultaneously lift your arms slightly higher while opening your chest. You should feel a pleasant stretch across your chest and the front of your shoulders. Hold for 5 seconds, then relax. Next, we'll work on overhead mobility. Raise the towel above your head while maintaining the same grip width. If this feels comfortable, try to lower the towel behind your head, bringing it toward the base of your neck. Only go as far as feels good. This movement should never cause pain in your shoulders or neck. If you can't bring the towel behind your head comfortably, simply hold it overhead and focus on reaching your arms up toward the ceiling. This alone provides valuable stretch and strengthening for your shoulders. The third movement in this sequence addresses the muscles between your shoulder blades. Hold the towel behind your back, with one hand reaching over your shoulder and the other reaching up from below. Don't worry if your hands don't meet initially. Use the towel to bridge the gap. Gently pull with the top hand to stretch the bottom arm. Then switch and gently pull with the bottom hand to stretch the top arm. If this behind-the-back position is too challenging, you can modify by holding the towel in front of you and simply pulling it apart while squeezing your shoulder blades together. This provides many of the same benefits without requiring the flexibility to reach behind your back. The final movement is a gentle spinal twist. Hold the towel in front of you at chest height, then slowly rotate your torso to the right, allowing your arms and the towel to follow. Keep your hips facing forward and initiate the rotation from your midsection. Return to center, then rotate to the left. This movement helps maintain mobility in your thoracic spine and can help counteract the effects of prolonged sitting. Throughout all of these towel exercises, focus on smooth, controlled movements. Never force or jerk the towel, and never move into positions that cause pain. The goal is to gently encourage your shoulders and upper back to maintain their full range of motion. These shoulder and chest exercises are particularly important because our modern lifestyle tends to pull our shoulders forward and round our upper backs. Regular practice of these movements helps counteract this tendency and can significantly improve your posture and reduce upper back tension. If you spend time reading, watching television, or working at a computer, these exercises are especially valuable. They help reverse the forward head and rounded shoulder posture that these activities encourage. Putting it all together. Your daily 10-minute routine. Now that you've learned all 6 movements, let's talk about how to combine them into a sustainable daily practice that will serve you for years to come. The key to success with this program isn't intensity or perfection. It's consistency and mindful attention to your body's needs. Your complete routine should take approximately 10 minutes, though you can adjust this based on your available time and current ability level. Here's how I recommend structuring your practice. Begin with the gentle awakening for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. This prepares your entire body for movement and helps you connect with how you're feeling today. Some days you might feel energetic and ready for more movement. Other days you might feel stiff or tired and need to approach the remaining exercises more gently. Move into the ankle and foot liberation for about 60 to 90 seconds per foot. Remember, your feet are your foundation, and preparing them properly sets you up for success in the remaining movements. Transition to the functional sit-to-stand for 2 to 3 minutes. Start with 5 repetitions and work up to 8 as you become stronger. This movement provides the most significant functional benefit of the entire sequence. Flow into the respectful bow hip hinge for 2 to 3 minutes. Focus on quality over quantity, performing 8 to 12 slow, controlled repetitions. Continue with the hand and wrist vitality sequence for about 2 minutes. Your hands work hard all day, and this brief attention can make a significant difference in their comfort and function. Finish with the shoulder and chest opening for 2 to 3 minutes. End your practice on a note of openness and expansion, setting a positive tone for your day. The beauty of this routine is its adaptability. On days when you feel energetic, you might spend a bit more time on each movement or add extra repetitions. On days when you feel stiff or tired, you might move more slowly and focus on smaller ranges of motion. Both approaches are perfectly valid and beneficial. I recommend practicing this routine first thing in the morning, before you shower or have breakfast. Morning movement helps lubricate your joints after hours of stillness during sleep, and it sets a positive, proactive tone for your day. However, if mornings don't work for your schedule, any time of day is better than no time at all. Consistency is far more important than timing. It's better to do these movements for 5 minutes every day than to do an intensive 20-minute session once or twice a week. Your joints need regular attention to maintain their health and mobility. Keep a simple log or journal of your practice. Nothing elaborate, just a checkmark for each day you complete your routine and perhaps a brief note about how you felt before and after. This simple tracking can be incredibly motivating and helps you notice patterns and improvements over time. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. As you begin incorporating these movements into your daily life, there are several common mistakes that can reduce their effectiveness or potentially cause discomfort. Let's address these proactively so you can get the maximum benefit from your practice. The first common mistake is rushing through the movements. In our fast-paced world, we often approach exercise with a get-it-done mentality. These Japanese-inspired movements require a different approach. They're meant to be performed slowly, mindfully, and with attention to how your body feels throughout each movement. Instead of watching the clock and trying to complete your routine as quickly as possible, focus on the quality of each movement. Breathe deeply, pay attention to the sensations in your joints, and move at a pace that feels sustainable and pleasant. The second mistake is ignoring pain signals. Remember our pain scale from 0 to 10, where you should never exceed a 3 during these movements. Some people interpret this guideline too liberally, pushing through discomfort that exceeds this level. Others interpret it too conservatively, avoiding any sensation whatsoever. The goal is to find the sweet spot, a level of gentle challenge that encourages improvement without causing harm. You should feel your muscles working and your joints moving through ranges of motion they might not use regularly. But you should never feel sharp pain, significant discomfort, or pain that persists after you finish moving. The third mistake is inconsistency followed by overcompensation. Life gets busy, and you might miss a few days of your routine. The mistake comes when you try to make up for lost time by doing extra movements or pushing harder when you return to your practice. This approach often leads to soreness or discouragement. Instead, simply pick up where you left off. If you've missed several days, you might even reduce the intensity slightly for the first day or two back. Your body will quickly readjust, and consistency moving forward is what matters most. The fourth mistake is comparing yourself to others or to your younger self. You might watch someone else perform these movements with greater range of motion or strength and feel discouraged about your own abilities. Or you might remember how easily you moved decades ago and feel frustrated with your current limitations. These comparisons are not only unhelpful, they're counterproductive. Your only meaningful comparison is with yourself yesterday. Are you moving a little more easily than last week? Do you feel slightly stronger than last month? These small improvements accumulated over time create profound changes in your quality of life. The fifth mistake is perfectionism. You might feel that if you can't do a movement exactly as described, you shouldn't do it at all. This all-or-nothing thinking prevents many people from experiencing the benefits of gentle, consistent movement. Remember, every modification is still beneficial. A partial range of motion is better than no movement at all. Doing the movements while seated is still valuable. Using a chair for support doesn't diminish the benefits. Work with your body as it is today, not as you think it should be. The sixth mistake is neglecting the breathing component. Some people focus so intently on the physical movements that they forget to breathe properly, or they hold their breath during challenging portions of the exercises. Your breath is your constant companion throughout these movements. It helps regulate your nervous system, provides oxygen to your working muscles, and serves as a guide for appropriate intensity. If you can't maintain slow, deep breathing during a movement, you're probably pushing too hard. The science behind. Why these movements? Work understanding. The science behind these movements can help motivate you to maintain consistency and trust in the process, especially on days when you don't feel like practicing or when progress seems slow. Let's start with synovial fluid production and circulation. Your joints contain synovial fluid, which serves as both lubricant and shock absorber. This fluid becomes thicker and less abundant as we age, contributing to morning stiffness and joint discomfort. However, movement stimulates the production of fresh synovial fluid and helps circulate it throughout the joint space. The gentle movements in our routine create what's called a pumping action within your joints. As you move through different ranges of motion, you're essentially massaging your joint surfaces, encouraging the exchange of nutrients and waste products within the synovial fluid. This is why you often feel less stiff after moving around in the morning, even if you felt very stiff when you first got out of bed. The second scientific principle is mechanotransduction, the process by which your cells respond to mechanical stress by adapting and strengthening. When you perform these movements consistently, you're sending signals to your bones, cartilage, and supporting tissues that they need to maintain their strength and integrity. Your bones respond to gentle stress by maintaining their density. Your cartilage responds by maintaining its thickness and shock-absorbing properties. Your muscles respond by maintaining their strength and coordination. Without regular movement, these tissues receive signals that they're no longer needed, and they begin to weaken and deteriorate. The third principle involves your nervous system and proprioception, your body's ability to sense where it is in space. As we age, we naturally lose some proprioceptive ability, which contributes to balance problems and increased fall risk. The varied movements in our routine challenge your proprioceptive system in gentle ways, helping maintain and even improve your balance and spatial awareness. The coordination required to perform these movements, balancing while doing ankle circles, controlling your descent during sit-to-stand exercises, maintaining good form during hip hinges, all help keep your nervous system sharp and responsive. The fourth principle is fascial health. Fascia is the connective tissue that surrounds every muscle, organ, and structure in your body. Think of it as a three-dimensional web that provides support and allows smooth movement between different body parts. When fascia becomes tight or restricted, often due to inactivity, prolonged sitting, or repetitive movements, it can create pain and limit movement even when the joints themselves are healthy. The flowing, multi-directional movements in our routine help maintain fascial flexibility and prevent these restrictions from developing. The fifth principle involves circulation and lymphatic drainage. As we age, our circulation naturally becomes less efficient, and our lymphatic system, which helps remove waste products from tissues, can become sluggish. Movement is one of the most effective ways to stimulate both circulation and lymphatic drainage. The muscle contractions involved in our routine act as pumps, helping move blood and lymph throughout your body. This improved circulation delivers nutrients to your joints and tissues while removing waste products that can contribute to inflammation and stiffness. Adapting the routine for specific conditions. While these movements are designed to be safe and beneficial for most people over 60, you may need to make specific adaptations if you're dealing with particular health conditions. Let's discuss some common situations and how to modify your practice accordingly. If you're dealing with arthritis, whether osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, movement is generally beneficial. But you may need to adjust your approach based on how you're feeling on any given day. During flare-ups, when your joints are particularly painful or swollen, reduce your range of motion and move more slowly and gently. Focus on maintaining movement rather than challenging yourself. For osteoarthritis, weight-bearing movements like the sit-to-stand exercise can be particularly beneficial as they help maintain bone density and muscle strength around affected joints. However, if your knees or hips are particularly painful, you can modify by using a higher chair or performing only partial movements. For rheumatoid arthritis, pay particular attention to your energy levels and overall inflammation. On high inflammation days, focus on gentle range of motion movements rather than strength-building exercises. The hand and wrist exercises can be especially beneficial for maintaining function in joints commonly affected by rheumatoid arthritis. If you're dealing with balance issues or have a history of falls, safety becomes your top priority. Always perform the standing movements near a sturdy chair, wall, or counter that you can hold onto if needed. Consider doing the entire routine while seated until your balance improves. For the ankle and foot exercises, you can perform these while holding on to a support. For the sit-to-stand movement, place your hands on the chair arms for additional support, or use a chair with arms if your current chair doesn't have them. If you have chronic lower back pain, pay particular attention to the hip hinge movement. This exercise can be incredibly beneficial for back health, but it must be performed correctly. Start with very small ranges of motion. Focus on the hip hinge rather than spine flexion, and stop immediately if you feel any pain in your back. You might also benefit from performing the entire routine while seated initially, gradually progressing to standing movements as your back strength and mobility improve. For those dealing with shoulder problems, including rotator cuff issues or frozen shoulder, modify the towel exercises significantly. Use a longer towel or belt that allows you to keep your hands farther apart, and never force movements that cause pain. Focus on gentle range of motion exercises rather than stretching or strengthening initially. If you have diabetes, these movements can be particularly beneficial for circulation and blood sugar management. However, be aware that your feet may have reduced sensation, so pay extra attention during the foot and ankle exercises. Check your feet regularly for any signs of irritation or injury. For those with osteoporosis or low bone density, these exercises are generally beneficial as weight-bearing and resistance activities help maintain bone strength. However, avoid forward flexion of the spine if you have severe osteoporosis. Modify the hip hinge exercise by reducing the forward lean, and focus on maintaining neutral spine alignment throughout all movements. If you are recovering from a recent injury or surgery, always consult with your healthcare provider or physical therapist before beginning any movement program. They can provide specific guidance on which movements are appropriate for your recovery stage and which should be avoided or modified. Creating your supportive environment, environment in which you practice these movements can significantly impact your success and enjoyment. Let's discuss how to create a space that supports your daily practice and removes common barriers to consistency. Choose a specific location in your home for your movement practice. This doesn't need to be a large space. An area about 6 feet by 6 feet is sufficient. Having a designated space helps create a mental association between that location and your healthy movement practice. Ensure your practice space has good lighting, especially if you're practicing early in the morning. You want to be able to see clearly to maintain good form and avoid any obstacles. Keep your space clear of clutter, loose rugs, or anything you might trip over. Safety is paramount, and a clean, organized space also helps create a calm, focused mindset for your practice. Have your equipment readily available. This simply means keeping a towel or belt nearby for the final exercise and ensuring you have a sturdy chair accessible. When your tools are easily available, you're more likely to maintain consistency. Consider the temperature of your space. You want to be comfortable enough to move freely, but not so warm that you become overheated. Many people find that they warm up naturally during the movements, so starting in a slightly cool environment often works well. Some people find that playing gentle, calming music enhances their practice. Choose instrumental music or nature sounds rather than songs with lyrics, which can be distracting. The tempo should be slow and steady, supporting the mindful pace of your movements. Others prefer complete silence, using their practice time as a form of moving meditation. Experiment with both approaches and see what feels most supportive for you. If you live with others, let them know about your practice time. This helps ensure you won't be interrupted during your 10-minute routine, and it might even inspire them to join you or start their own movement practice. Consider practicing near a window where you can see outside. Natural light and views of nature, even if it's just a small garden or street trees, can enhance the meditative quality of your practice and provide a sense of connection to the natural world. Keep a glass of water nearby. Staying hydrated is important, especially as we age, and having water easily accessible removes any excuse for skipping this important aspect of self-care. Building long-term habits, creating. A sustainable movement practice isn't just about learning the exercises. It's about building habits that will serve you for years to come. Let's explore strategies for making these movements as automatic and natural as brushing your teeth. Start small and be patient with yourself. If 10 minutes feels overwhelming initially, start with 5 minutes or even just 3 movements instead of all 6. It's better to do something small consistently than to attempt something large sporadically. Research shows that it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. This means you'll need to consciously choose to do your movements for about 2 months before they become truly habitual. Be patient with this process and kind to yourself on days when it feels challenging. Link your movement practice to an existing habit. This is called habit stacking, and it's one of the most effective ways to build new routines. For example, you might decide to do your movements right after you brush your teeth in the morning, or immediately before you have your first cup of coffee. Create a simple tracking system. This could be as basic as marking an X on a calendar for each day you complete your routine, or keeping a small notebook where you record how you felt before and after your practice. The act of tracking helps reinforce the behavior and provides motivation as you see your consistency improve. Prepare for obstacles in advance. What will you do on days when you're running late? What's your plan for when you're traveling? How will you maintain your practice when you're feeling under the weather? Having a plan for these situations helps you maintain consistency even when life gets complicated. For time constraints, have a minimum viable routine, perhaps just 3 minutes focusing on your most problematic joints. For travel, identify which movements you can do in a hotel room or other temporary space. For illness, know which gentle movements you can do from bed or while feeling unwell. Celebrate small victories. Notice and acknowledge when you've maintained your practice for a week, 2 weeks, a month. These milestones matter and deserve recognition. You might treat yourself to something special, share your success with a friend, or simply take a moment to feel proud of your commitment to your health. Be flexible about perfection. There will be days when you miss your practice, and that's normal and human. What matters is getting back to your routine the next day rather than allowing a single missed day to derail your entire effort. Consider finding an accountability partner. This might be a spouse, friend, or family member who checks in with you about your practice, or even someone who joins you in doing the movements. Having someone else invested in your success can provide powerful motivation. Track qualitative changes as well as consistency. Keep notes about improvements in how you feel. Perhaps you're sleeping better, feeling less stiff in the morning, or finding it easier to get up from chairs. These quality-of-life improvements are often more motivating than quantitative measures. Nutritional support for joint health. While movement is the foundation of joint health, proper nutrition plays a supporting role in maintaining mobility and reducing inflammation. Let's discuss some dietary considerations that can enhance the benefits of your movement practice. Hydration is perhaps the most important nutritional factor for joint health. Your synovial fluid is primarily water, and even mild dehydration can affect its consistency and lubricating properties. Aim to drink water throughout the day, not just during your movement practice. As we age, our sensation of thirst decreases, so you may need to drink water consciously rather than waiting until you feel thirsty. A good general guideline is to aim for 8 glasses of water per day, though your individual needs may vary based on your activity level, climate, and overall health. Anti-inflammatory foods can help support joint health and complement your movement practice. These include fatty fish like salmon and sardines, which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, leafy green vegetables, berries, nuts, and olive oil. Omega-3 fatty acids, in particular, have been shown to help reduce joint inflammation and stiffness. If you don't eat fish regularly, consider discussing omega-3 supplements with your healthcare provider. Some people find that certain foods seem to increase their joint pain or stiffness. Common culprits include highly processed foods, excessive sugar, and for some individuals, nightshade vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant. Pay attention to how different foods affect how you feel, and consider keeping a food and symptom diary if you suspect dietary triggers. Vitamin D plays a crucial role in bone health and muscle function. Many older adults have insufficient vitamin D levels, especially if they spend limited time outdoors or live in northern climates. Your healthcare provider can test your vitamin D levels and recommend supplementation if necessary. Calcium is important for bone health, but it's most effective when combined with vitamin D and obtained from food sources rather than supplements when possible. Good food sources include dairy products, leafy greens, and fish with soft bones like sardines. Protein becomes increasingly important as we age to maintain muscle mass and strength. Include high-quality protein sources in your diet such as lean meats, fish, eggs, beans, and nuts. The muscles surrounding your joints play a crucial role in joint stability and function. Antioxidant-rich foods like berries, colorful vegetables, and green tea can help combat the oxidative stress that contributes to aging and joint degeneration. These foods also tend to be rich in vitamins and minerals that support overall health. Some people find benefit from specific supplements like glucosamine and chondroitin for joint health, though the research on these is mixed. Always discuss any supplements with your healthcare provider, especially if you're taking other medications. Understanding pain versus discomfort. One of the most important skills you can develop is distinguishing between beneficial discomfort and harmful pain. This distinction is crucial for practicing these movements safely and effectively while building confidence in your body's abilities. Beneficial discomfort typically feels like a gentle stretch, mild muscle fatigue, or the sensation of moving through stiffness. This type of discomfort often decreases as you continue moving and usually leads to increased range of motion and improved comfort afterward. Examples of beneficial discomfort include the feeling of tight muscles gradually loosening during the hip hinge movement, mild fatigue in your leg muscles during the sit-to-stand exercise, or the sensation of stiff joints gradually becoming more mobile during the ankle circles. Harmful pain, on the other hand, tends to be sharp, sudden, or intense. It often gets worse rather than better as you continue moving, and it may persist or worsen after you finish exercising. This type of pain is your body's warning signal that something isn't right. Examples of harmful pain include sharp, shooting sensations in your joints, sudden muscle spasms, pain that radiates down your arms or legs, or any pain that takes your breath away or makes you feel nauseous. The key is learning to listen to your body's signals and respond appropriately. Start each movement gently and gradually increase your range of motion or effort as your body allows. If you encounter resistance or discomfort, pause and assess whether it feels like beneficial stretching or potentially harmful pain. Remember our pain scale guideline. Stay at a 3 or below on a scale of 0 to 10. A 1 or 2 might represent mild stretching or gentle muscle work. This is perfectly fine and often beneficial. A 3 represents noticeable discomfort that you're aware of, but can breathe through comfortably. If you reach a 4 or above on the pain scale, reduce your range of motion, slow down, or take a break. You're not giving up or failing. You're listening to your body's wisdom and protecting yourself from injury. Over time, you'll develop a better sense of your body's signals and capabilities. You might find that what felt challenging or uncomfortable initially becomes easier and more comfortable with regular practice. This is your body adapting and improving, which is exactly what we want to achieve. Sleep and recovery quality sleep becomes increasingly important as we age, and it plays a crucial role in how your body responds to and recovers from your daily movement practice. Poor sleep can increase pain sensitivity, reduce motivation for movement, and impair your body's ability to repair and strengthen tissues. Many people find that regular, gentle movement like our routine improves their sleep quality. Physical activity helps regulate your circadian rhythm, reduces stress and anxiety, and can help ease the physical discomfort that might otherwise keep you awake. However, the timing of your movement practice can affect your sleep. Most people find that morning movement energizes them for the day ahead, while evening movement might be too stimulating and interfere with sleep. Experiment with different timing to see what works best for your schedule and sleep patterns. Create a consistent sleep schedule by going to bed and waking up at the same time each day, even on weekends. This helps regulate your body's internal clock and can improve both sleep quality and daytime energy levels. Your sleep environment matters for recovery. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Consider blackout curtains or an eye mask if outside light is an issue, and use earplugs or a white noise machine if noise is problematic. Limit screen time for at least an hour before bedtime. The blue light emitted by phones, tablets, and televisions can interfere with your body's production of melatonin, the hormone that helps regulate sleep. If joint pain or stiffness interferes with your sleep, gentle movement before bed might help. Some of the hand and foot exercises can be done while lying in bed, and gentle stretching can help ease tension that has accumulated during the day. Pay attention to how your movement practice affects your sleep, and how your sleep quality affects your ability to move comfortably the next day. This awareness can help you optimize both aspects of your health routine. When to seek professional help. While these movements are designed to be safe and beneficial for most people, there are situations where professional guidance from a healthcare provider, physical therapist, or qualified fitness professional is advisable. Seek immediate medical attention if you experience any sharp, severe pain during or after your movement practice, especially if it's accompanied by swelling, numbness, tingling, or significant limitation in movement. Consider consulting with a physical therapist if you have specific joint problems, a history of injuries, or if you're unsure about how to modify the movements for your particular situation. A physical therapist can assess your individual needs and provide personalized guidance. If you have chronic conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, or cardiovascular disease, discuss this movement routine with your healthcare provider before beginning. They can provide specific guidance about any modifications you might need. Pay attention to persistent pain or discomfort that doesn't improve with rest or gentle movement. While some initial stiffness or mild soreness is normal when beginning a new movement routine, persistent or worsening pain should be evaluated by a healthcare professional. If you experience dizziness, shortness of breath, chest pain, or any other concerning symptoms during your movement practice, stop immediately and consult with your healthcare provider. Consider working with a qualified fitness professional who has experience with older adults if you want to expand your movement practice beyond these basic exercises, or if you need help with motivation and accountability. Don't hesitate to ask questions during medical appointments about your joint health, movement capabilities, and any concerns you have about maintaining an active lifestyle. Your healthcare providers are valuable partners in your wellness journey. Seasonal adaptations and long-term progression. As you maintain this movement practice over months and years, you'll likely find that your needs and abilities change. Understanding how to adapt your routine for different seasons and life circumstances helps ensure long-term success. Winter months often bring increased stiffness and joint discomfort for many people. Cold weather can reduce circulation and make joints feel tighter. During winter, you might need to spend more time on the gentle warm-up phase, move more slowly initially, and perhaps practice in a warmer room. Some people find it helpful to take a warm shower or bath before their movement practice during cold weather. Others benefit from wearing layers that they can remove as they warm up during the routine. Summer heat can bring its own challenges, including dehydration and fatigue. Ensure your practice space is well ventilated, have extra water available, and consider practicing earlier in the morning when temperatures are cooler. Seasonal mood changes can also affect motivation and consistency. During darker months, practicing near a window with natural light or using a light therapy lamp might help maintain your routine and mood. As you become more comfortable with the basic routine, you might want to progress by increasing the number of repetitions, holding positions slightly longer, or adding small challenges like closing your eyes during balance-challenging movements. However, progression doesn't need to mean doing more or doing it harder. It might mean moving with greater awareness, breathing more deeply, or maintaining better form throughout each movement. Some people enjoy varying their routine slightly to prevent boredom. You might spend extra time on movements that feel particularly beneficial on a given day, or add gentle variations that feel good to your body. Listen to your body's signals about when to progress and when to maintain your current level. Some days you might feel energetic and capable of more challenge, while other days your body might need a gentler approach. Remember that maintaining your current level of function is itself a significant achievement. As we age, simply preventing decline represents success, and any improvements in mobility, strength, or comfort are bonuses. The ripple effects of daily movement. The benefits of this daily movement practice extend far beyond joint health and pain reduction. Let's explore some of the additional positive effects you might experience as you maintain this routine over time. Improved confidence is one of the most significant secondary benefits. As you become more comfortable with these movements and notice improvements in your mobility and strength, you'll likely feel more confident about your physical abilities in general. This confidence often translates into greater willingness to engage in other activities and social situations. Better balance and coordination from these exercises can reduce your risk of falls, one of the most serious health concerns for older adults. The proprioceptive challenges inherent in these movements help maintain the quick reflexes and spatial awareness that prevent accidents. Enhanced mood and mental well-being often result from regular movement. Physical activity stimulates the production of endorphins, the body's natural mood elevators, and the mindful nature of this practice can reduce stress and anxiety. Improved posture is a common benefit, especially from the shoulder and chest opening exercises and the hip hinge movement. Better posture not only looks better but also reduces strain on your spine and can improve breathing and digestion. Increased energy levels might seem counterintuitive. You're expending energy to exercise. So how can this give you more energy? The answer lies in improved circulation, better sleep, and the general fitness improvements that result from regular movement. Enhanced independence is perhaps the most valuable long-term benefit. Maintaining the ability to get up from chairs easily, reach for objects without pain, and move confidently through your daily activities allows you to continue living independently and participating fully in life. Better cognitive function has been linked to regular physical activity. The coordination and concentration required for these movements, combined with the improved circulation to the brain, may help maintain mental sharpness and memory. Social benefits often emerge as well. You might inspire family members or friends to start their own movement practices, leading to shared activities and conversations about health and wellness. Some people find community by joining senior fitness classes or groups after building confidence with these home-based exercises. Conclusion: your journey forward sees. We conclude this comprehensive guide to the 6 Japanese-inspired movements for joint health. Remember that you're embarking on a journey rather than starting a short-term project. The movements you've learned today are tools that can serve you for the rest of your life, adapting and evolving as your needs change. The Japanese concept of Kaizen, continuous small improvements, perfectly captures the spirit of this practice. You don't need to transform overnight or achieve perfection. You simply need to take small, consistent steps toward better joint health and mobility. Every day that you perform these movements, you're making a positive investment in your future self. You're maintaining and potentially improving your ability to move through life with comfort and confidence. You're taking an active role in your own wellness rather than passively accepting limitation as an inevitable part of aging. Remember that progress isn't always linear. You'll have good days and challenging days, periods of improvement and times when you seem to plateau. All of this is normal and expected. What matters is your commitment to showing up for yourself consistently, treating your body with kindness and respect, and celebrating the small victories along the way. Gentle wisdom embedded in these movements reflects a different approach to aging and wellness, one that honors the body's need for movement while respecting its limitations, one that values consistency over intensity, and one that sees aging as a natural process that can be navigated with grace and dignity. As you continue this practice, pay attention to how it affects not just your joints and physical comfort, but your overall sense of well-being, confidence, and engagement with life. Notice how taking this time for yourself each day influences your mood, your energy levels, and your willingness to participate in other activities you enjoy. Share your experience with others who might benefit from these movements. Your example of taking an active role in your health and wellness can inspire and encourage others to do the same. The ripple effects of your commitment to movement extend beyond your own life to touch the lives of those around you. Trust in your body's ability to adapt and improve, regardless of your current age or fitness level. Your body wants to move well and feel comfortable. These movements simply provide a gentle, consistent way to support that natural desire for healthy function. Be patient with yourself as you develop this new habit. Be kind to yourself on days when movement feels challenging. Be proud of yourself for taking this positive step toward better health and mobility. And remember that every moment you spend in mindful, gentle movement is a gift you're giving to your present and future self. The path to better joint health and improved mobility begins with a single step, or, in this case, a single gentle movement. You have everything you need to begin this journey today. Your body is ready. These movements are waiting, and your better, more mobile future is just 10 minutes a day away. Start today. Start gently. Start with kindness toward yourself, and trust that consistency, patience, and gentle persistence will lead you toward the pain-free mobility and vitality that every person deserves to enjoy, regardless of age.